Hello everyone. Today's review is a bit of a favourite of mine. For starters, it's Batman. Another thing that's a bit different is that it's an Elseworld story. For those of you who don't know what an Elseworld story is, it is basically a what-if story. It takes characters, it changes either the characters themselves, or the time, or the environment that they're in, creating different variations of themselves. Example, Superman Red Sun, where Superman landed in Russia instead of America. And today's story is a little bit like that. It's Batman, but instead of being an American, he's in Berlin. So, Berlin, Batman. One of my favourites. And we're looking at that right now. We open up our story on the opening page with Batman atop his manor, looking like some poor attempt at playing a demon in a kid's stage play. Here's the narration.
The Batman, a mysterious and terrifying figure, fighting against the evil forces in society. His identity remains unknown.
Except for us Bat fans, of course. Otherwise,
the world is completely clueless.
Inside Wayne Manor, we are presented with... The hell? That's the Berlin version of Bruce Wayne? A pink dressing gown and a very thin cigar and a very thin feminine figure? Huh! I guess those allegations about homosexuality in Batman really were true. Oh, then again, why wouldn't this version of Batman have a steaming hot version of Robin, who's female? Yeah, apparently the Berlin version of Robin is female. Nice one, Barak. Clearly you like your pick a lot. Anyway, here's the caption box for this.
Berlin, 1939. In the home of wealthy socialite Barak Finn, who at the moment is entertaining his friend, Commissar Garten.
Well, Commissar, what's new? Anything interesting occupying your time?
No, except that this criminal they call the Batman puzzles me.
You know, given the background they're in, which is just a pale yellow wall, just cups of tea and a bit of cigars, oh, and some random fruit that Robin seems to be holding, this is entertainment? Huh, this does make me wonder what he does in his spare time, apart from being Batman. Oh, I'd like to see what his parties are like. They're probably a hoot. Commissar Garten, who in this universe is a Nazi, so boo, we hate him, talks about how Batman has been causing trouble for him and the rest of the Nazi party. He sabotaged our rail lines and disrupted 2 military parades since October. Ah, yes, the Batman. I read about him in the papers. A fiend. And then we cut to red and black.
He'd been seen lurking around the homes of prominent party members, so be alert, Evan. Make no mistake, this Batman is a menace.
Oh yeah, I can definitely tell that he's a menace the way he's up a telephone pole. What was he doing? Was he having trouble trying to get reception for a call he was making? Yeah, remember, the Batman, he's a menace. He goes up telephone poles because he has trouble making calls. Oh, and the whole red and black thing is never really explained, except for it being a couple of flashbacks, I think. Believe me, there are only 4 other panels like this, and they're all one after the other. So, what significance does this have apart from, I don't know, stand out because it's supposed to be told in the past? Who knows? And obviously, due to
the Batman
going around and causing a bit of havoc, Commissioner Garten asks Barak Finn, if he should have a few bodyguards.
You're to hire a bodyguard. I myself have 4.
Really, Commissar? Why should I fear a lunatic in a circus costume? Hey, you leave Dick Grayson alone. Otherwise he'll come over here and kick your ass along with Oh, Wait. Barak points out that due to him being a socialite, that it wouldn't really work anyway, especially since how, well, bodyguards would be useless, seeing as he's a complete shut-in. However, the commissioner states otherwise. It's good for the morale of the people for them to see the rich spending money. Yes, good for the morale of people who are poorer than the rich to see the rich spending money and pretty much mocking at them, which would cause the poor to envy the rich and most likely start a sort of revolution. Yes, clearly this man should be the head of the police department with all that intelligence he's got in his head. Yeah, he should be doing the Nazi Party very, very well. The complete idiot. The commissioner then sees that Barak Vane is a bit of a painter. Would you be interested in painting the Führer's portrait, Vane? Perhaps we could arrange to exhibit such portraits, should you decide to paint some. Commissioner, you know I am not a political artist. I'm a painter of the Cubist school, inspired by the great Pablo Picasso. Yes, Picasso. A Spaniard. And a genius. Really have heard such opinions. I see it is getting late. I must go. I have an appointment at the train yard. Oh? Yes, we've confiscated the property of a certain economist, a Ludwig von Mises, an Austrian Jew from Vienna. So the commissioner talks about, well, how he managed to get his hands on Mises' work, how they sacked all his libraries, and, okay, what the hell? What is with these 4 red and black panels? What do they serve to the story? Apart from, well, seeing how Mises' work has been ransacked. I mean, are we going to find any sort of reason why it's like that? No? Then why have it? Commissioner Garton leaves, saying goodbye to Barak, while Barak notices that Robin isn't very happy, saying, they think you are a Vastrel. A Vastrel? What the hell is that? Oh, never mind. And she carries on, saying that they think he's a ne'er-do-well, a dandy. And I should want them to think of me. But Barak, you still have much to learn, my pearl. But this talk of the Mises troubles me. I once met him, and I've read his work. He's a brave man to oppose the party in these barren times. You're going out? You are. Let me come with you. No, Robin. It's as I've told you. Not yet. Not until you've completed your training. Yes, sir. Maybe in the spring. Yes, sir. Okay, so really he took down what kind of work we would have featured with Berlin Robin, whose real name is Robin. Funny that. Barak decides that the fiendish Batman will pay an unexpected visit to the Nazi train yards. And we then cut to the train yards themselves.
Soon, a mysterious figure like a huge bat slinks across the Berlin rooftops.
Everyone has a right to their own thoughts and actions. Von Mises is no exception. And so we finally see Berlin Batman wandering around the rooftops in his red cowl? Red cowl! Not black or blue, which, is usually associated with the colour of a bat, but red. Is this the link between the character's story and the red and black flashbacks? The hell? Now that you think about it, you wouldn't really call him the Dark Knight, would you? No. How about the Crimson Crusader? Or Mr. Red? Or hell, how about Robin, since he seems to be doing more work than the actual Robin in this bloody universe? Actually, this is something that I like about this version of Batman, because, well, he looks pretty different. I mean, he stands out in the crowd, doesn't he? I mean, it's like the Dark Knight version of Batman, who was just big and bulky, and he was noticeable enough to be recognised when you pair them up against all other versions of Batman. And come to think of it, this is at that point where it does feature the similarities between the Batman Year 100 incarnation, who it actually looks pretty thin, according to what Paul Pope had in mind when he designed both Batmans. Yeah, I mean, when you look at these two, they look thin. Not the kind of muscle you'd expect for Batman, but relatively thin for their stature. But then again, that would help, kind of like how Dick Grayson was Robin. They're both athletic, as you can see from their build, so this way it allows them to perform feats which would help them in terms of fighting someone else. Plus, well, I don't know. Look at his gloves. His gloves are just like that from the original Batman, back when he was introduced in 1939. He's wearing gloves. Not the arm gloves with the bat things at the side, no. This just shows that how he's just creating a costume from the material he has and has not bothered for style except for when he tried to pierce criminals' hearts. Anyway, moving along from that. And as he goes through the train yard, we get a nice flashback as to how this version of Bruce Wayne ended up becoming Batman.
Wayne remembers his father.
Son, in our world, you can only be the master or the slave. The donkey toiling in misery, or the road breaking its back. No, father, I don't believe it. What will you choose to be, child? I'll be a third thing.
The boy held up a tiny finger. He didn't have the words to describe what he was feeling.
I...
The Legend of the Batman. Wayne was yet a boy when he tragically learned how he and the other Jews were hated by their neighbors. He saw his parents killed before his eyes walking home from the cinema one terrible night.
Thomas, you've killed him! Help! Police!
Really shut you up?
Mother!
A dozen boot heels crushed his parents' bodies. Blood was everywhere, soaking through his fine white leather shoes and silken socks.
Dead!
Days later, at the boy's grandparents', a strange scene occurred.
I swear by the spirits of my dead parents to avenge their deaths. I'll spend the rest of my life firing on all criminals. I will! Do you hear me, Mr. Batmouse? I will!
He was the strongest, smartest, most precocious child in his whole class. He noticed the others resented him more for this than for being a Jew. As the years passed, he prepared himself for his secret career. He trained his body until he could perform amazing feats of athletic prowess.
Father's estate has left me wealthy. I'm almost ready. But first, I need a face. Not this one of my own, but one I choose. Criminals are a superstitious lot. I'll need a face which will strike terror into their hearts. I must become a fiend, a creature of the night, something dark, terrible.
As if in answer, a huge bat flies through the window.
Yes, a bat. I shall become a bat.
And thus was born this weird menace to all crime, the Batman.
Now, obviously, this origin is different, but for reasons I actually like it. I mean, when you think about it, it's using the time it was set in to its advantage, and also how society viewed one section of people. With Batman being Jewish, this is good, because this allows us to see Batman in a different light. While not only you're seeing his origin play out in a somewhat different start, you're seeing that it's society, not one criminal, who killed his parents. So, seeing how there was a large amount of people, I'd say about 20 at least, that killed them, this shows that obviously Bruce Wayne didn't have time to memorize their details. So, yeah, he's more or less going up against the Nazis, which are now a society, rather than just being a criminal empire. Although, I guess you could say that the Nazis are like that. And also, to be honest, it uses the whole setup as just a really good way to see Batman fighting society itself, which is sort of similar to how he combats criminals, and yet public view him as being a menace sometimes. One of the things I just want to point out that's a bit funny in this origin story is how the caption says that Barack Wayne is wearing white shoes. No, you can clearly see that he's wearing black. And also, the Mr. Mouse thing. Ah yes, surely you remember the Bat Mouse thing toy back in Berlin? No? I'm not surprised. It's purely made just to help inspire Barack become Batman. A bit lame, but still, it's a bit of a tweak. Anyway, the flashback ends, and we're back at
The train yards.
there are the commissioner's men.
Batman carefully surveys the scene below.
I don't know what I could do. There must be something. Once they catalogue all the books and notes in Von Meis's library, they'll ship everything to some storehouse to rot. Unfortunately, Batman is noticed by some of the guards, and he's forced to make his presence known.
The Batman! It's come for me! Kill it! Kill it!
I love how he just describes it as it. Yeah, verifying that he's not even quite sure if it's man or thing. A bit of a problem with Batman's crusade is that the guards will have radios, and there are 4 guards, including 2 in the tower. So he has to make quick work of any of the people right there. And quickly, let the kid confuse them. Confuse them? Why? I mean, sure, it's very long, but are you trying to confuse them on your bizarre sense of fashion? Oh, see this bit? He says,
No guns!
yeah, he pointed out that they have no guns on them. Which makes me wonder, since how his parents were beaten to death, makes me wonder if Batman ever decided to take up guns in this universe. During his fight, Batman notices that they're just using brute violence. So this is it. No grace, no aristocracy, just brute violence. They made Europe into a living hell. Well, they made Germany a living hell at the moment. The Commissioner realises that what he's after is the train, and the train is unfortunately making its way through. No, not when I'm this close.
In a gesture born of his great frustration, the Batman tries to stop the train with his bare hands.
Ha ha! So you're human after all.
Even you cannot stop a moving train.
You can't win the world through fear and repression.
Then we'll seize it.
Oh. Batman is clearly exalted, you say, oh,
I'll oppose you. You're only one man. What can one man do? Even now, my men come for you, will crush you.
I just have to point out, this scene is actually kind of awesome because the Commissioner's just pointing out how Batman's a human and how he expects him to do all this stuff when he's outnumbered and outgunned. Or rather, outbruted. And like always, Batman always has to pull something off to show how badass he is. Trains are like the veins of a country. If you cut the right one, the heart stops beating.
Desperately, the Batman takes 2 small vials from his belt as he speaks.
You won't crush me. You won't touch me. You couldn't if you tried.
Boom!
And so, the 2 vials cause explosions that destroy the railings. Which is weird because it makes you wonder if he even planned doing something like that before, considering how he had some of those vials in there. Oh, the way the explosion's been put down. See, you got B-O-O-U-M. So, boom. Well, nice to see that they wanted to add a bit of detail to the sound effect of an explosion. And like a pair of morons, one henchman believes that Batman killed himself. But the Commissioner has something else to reply with.
No, you fool. He's escaped. He got that way again. If he couldn't stop the train, he decided to destroy the track.
The Fiend. And now we have one big page of Batman overseeing the destruction of the train house and his thoughts on it. It is easier to destroy than it is to create. I wish I could do more, but sometimes you must destroy to create space, then use that space to build something new, something better. And our story ends on the final 2 pages from Robin's 1998 memoirs of the Batman, unpublished. And, once again, the entire thing is done in red and black. Why? Oh, who cares? It's nearly over with. Ludwig von Mises escaped to the United States when the Nazis ransacked his apartment in 1939. It was his landlady, a friend of his mother's, who told the authorities that Mises was working on a new book which challenged Nazi social and economic policies. They slowed him down, but they couldn't stop him. He continued work on a book which was eventually published in 1949, called Human Action, now considered one of the great libertarian works of our time. Von Mises' anti-authoritarian ideas were first a threat to the Nazis, then the Soviets, and to all increasingly regulatory governments in our own times. He is against socialism in all of its many forms. He was an advocate of individual liberty, free speech, and free thinking. And so, I add, was the Berlin Batman. Oh, I like how in one of these panels, when he hits someone, you see the word sock right there. And that just puts me back in mind to back in the 1960s show. Whenever they hit someone, there'd be a card saying sock, pow, swap, Sieg. Oh, that was a really beaten up Barack Fein. Ow, I wonder what he must have been to. Never mind, skipped over with. And now we cut to the final page, which is one great big panel of Batman looking over the city, which looks very odd, houses here all mishmash, looking like something out of some bizarre painting. But look at his face. He's screeching out there, he looks terrifying, and you see, I guess it must be very cold because of the stuff coming from his mouth. Anyway, final caption. The Batman, as we all know, got better at what he does, and the legend of his exploits continues to grow to this day. And that was Berlin Batman. How does it hold up? Well, it holds up surprisingly well, and you can see why it's considered one of my favourite DC stories. The action's good, nice that they changed the origin and they used the setting to their advantage, and it's okay, even though the red-black thing did get a little bit I still really enjoy it. And yeah, if any of you have read Batman Year 100, which is what this Berlin Batman has put in with collectively, then you can see some of the similarities that Paul Pope used, not just in character design, but the idea of Batman fighting a dystopian place. And it's short but sweet. And so ends the review. Good night.